Welcome to Math 20 Video Lecture Series. Sa lecture na ito, ipagpapatuloy natin ang usapan tungkol sa inverse trigonometric functions. Okay, so let us recall yung mga napag-aralan natin last time. So meron ako ditong listahan ng mga inverse trig functions natin. And dinrawing ko yung mga range nila. So, ang important for this lesson ay kung nasaang quadrant itong mga nilalabas nilang values. Pwede mong isipin na itong inverse trigonometric functions are angles lang. So, pag sinabing sine inverse or tangent inverse ng something, angle lang yan sa quadrant 1 or quadrant 4. Nagpa-follow ng restriction na to. Negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And for tangent inverse, hindi siya pwedeng maging negative pi over 2 and pi over 2. And for cosine inverse and cotangent inverse, angle lang siya sa quadrant 1 or quadrant 2. And for secant inverse and cosecant inverse, pwedeng angle lang sila sa quadrant 1 or quadrant 3. Okay, so let us begin. So, ang gagawin natin ngayon ay gagamitin natin itong mga restrictions na to doon sa pag-evaluate ng inverse trig functions. Okay, so for our first example, let us evaluate sine of cosine inverse negative 3/5. Okay, so ang gagawin natin, ililet natin na theta yung angle. So, ano yung angle? Yun yung inverse trig function. So, let theta equal to cosine inverse negative 3/5. At nasaan si theta? So, ang sabi natin, ang cosine inverse nasa quadrant 1 or 2 lang. So, yun yung candidates natin kung nasaan si theta. Quadrant 1 or 2. So, this means, by the definition of cosine inverse, it means cosine theta is negative 3/5. Okay, sabi ng all sinta ko, lahat ng angle dito positive. So, ibig sabihin, theta cannot be in quadrant 1. So, automatic, theta is in quadrant 2. So, somewhere nandyan siya. So, ang hinahanap na natin ngayon ay sine of, this is theta. Sine of theta. So, kung mahanap natin yung value ni sine theta, mahanap natin yung value nung pinapahanap. So, let us recall, isa-solve natin to using the trigonometric way of doing it. Yung may mga x over r, y over r, etc. So, cosine theta is x over r, and r is always positive, so r is 5, x is negative 3. So, to find sine theta is y over r. So, we have to find y. And we use this formula, x squared plus y squared equal to r squared. X squared is 9. Y squared equal to r squared is 25. So, y squared is 16. So, y is either plus or minus 4. So, isa dyan sa dalawang yan. But theta is in quadrant 2. Ang mga y natin doon ay positive. So, we take y equal to 4. And makukuha na natin si sine theta. Sine theta is y over r. Y is 4. R is 5. Okay? So, yung value nitong pinapahanap is sine theta. And sine theta is 4/5. So, this is 4/5. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, so erase na natin ito. Number 2, evaluate or compute for the exact value of sine 1/2 of secant inverse negative 3 over 2. So, ganun ulit. We let theta equal to yung inverse trig function. Yun yung angle. So, bali, ang hinahanap na lang natin ngayon is replace this 1 by theta. So, hinahanap natin is 1/2 theta or theta over 2. And we know that theta over 2 is, the formula sa half angle identity, it's plus minus square root of 1 minus cosine theta all over 2. So, yung plus minus, magdidepende sa theta over 2. Okay. So, balikan natin ito. So, this means, secant theta is negative 3 over 2. So, nasan si theta? So, sabi natin, ang secant inverse ay may ganitong restriction. So, nasa quadrant 1 or 3 lang siya. So, pi to 3 pi over 2, 0 to pi over 2. So, pi, 3 pi over 2, 0, pi over 2. So, that pala start no, 0 to pi over 2, pi to 3 pi over 2. Okay. So, isa sa mga quadrants na yan, magpo-fall si theta. So, gamit tayo na all sin tako. All sin ta. So, quadrant 1 or 3 na lang, but secant is negative. So, hindi ka pwede malaglag sa quadrant 1 kasi lahat ng angle doon ay positive. So, automatic na sa quadrant 3 tayo. Theta is in quadrant 3. Okay. Or, theta is between pi to 3 pi over 2. Okay. Pero hindi kasali si 3 pi over 2. So, pwede kang maging pi, pero hindi pwedeng maging 3 pi over 2. Okay? Okay, so, gagawin ulit natin yung trigonometric way of doing this na yun. Ko-compute natin yung other trigonometric function values using yung x over r, y over r, etc. Kasi yun yung mas mabilis. So, anong ibig sabihin ng secant theta? It means r over x. R is always positive, so r is 3 and x is negative 2. Okay? So, we have to compute for, hindi pala kailangan na. Cosine lang ang kailangan natin. Meron na tayong secant theta, so kunin na lang pala natin yung reciprocal. So, cosine theta is negative 2/3. So, itong hinahanap natin ay itago natin sa pangalang star is plus minus square root of 1 minus negative 2/3 over 2, which is plus minus square root of, kapag sinimplify natin to 1 plus 2/3 over 2, 1 plus 2/3 is 5/3 over 2, so that is 5/6. Okay? So, yung plus minus dito will depend on theta over 2. So, from here, i-divide natin lahat to by 2. So, divided by 2, divided by 2, divided by 2. Okay? So, pi over 2 less than equal to theta over 2 less than equal to 3 pi over 4. So, nasan si theta over 2? This is pi over 2, 3 pi over 4. So, mayroon dito daw siya. So, nasa quadrant 2 tayo. And ang, balikan natin to. And ang sign of theta over 2 in quadrant 2, sign must be positive. So, dapat ang magiging sagot dito ay positive. So, yung sagot is square root of 5 over 6. Okay? Okay, let's try another one. Tangent. Find the exact value, exact numerical value of this. So, meron tayong dalawang inverse trig functions. So, ililet lang natin yun as pwedeng theta 1, theta 2, or alpha beta. Alpha beta na lang kasi sanay tayo doon. Let alpha equal to cosecant inverse negative square root of 5 and beta equal to tangent inverse 2/3. Susog ko lang ha. Ay. So, bali, ang goal na natin for this one, replace this by alpha, replace this by beta. So, kung hinahanap na natin is tangent alpha minus beta. And from the sum and difference identities, this is the same as tan alpha minus tan beta divided by 1 plus yung product nila. Okay? So, kailangan natin mahanap ang tangent alpha, tangent beta. Okay, so gagawin natin to separately. Okay. Set aside muna natin si beta. So, unahin natin si alpha. So, this means cosecant alpha is negative square root of 5. Pero nasan si alpha? Anong sabi natin sa restriction natin kay a cosecant inverse? So, we have this. Nasa quadrant 1 or quadrant 3 lang siya. Okay. So, cosecant is negative. Hindi na pwede mag-land si alpha sa quadrant 1 kasi lahat ng trig function values doon ay positive. So, alpha is in quadrant 3. And gagamitin ulit natin yung trigonometric way of doing it. So, ang cosecant is equal to r over y. So, kailangan natin si tangent alpha. R is square root of 5 because R is always positive and Y is may over 1 dyan, no? So, negative 1 si Y. So, let us compute for X. So, X square is R square minus Y square or 5 minus 1 which is 4. So, X is equal to plus or minus So, ang alpha natin nasa quadrant 3 at ang x doon ay negative. So, dapat x is negative. So, tangent alpha is equal to y over x or negative 1 over negative 2 or 1/2. So, that is tangent alpha. Okay. So, ang kailangan lang natin ay tangent alpha and tangent beta. So, okay na yung isa, yung tangent alpha. So, lipat naman tayo kay beta. Usog lang natin ito. So, anong restriction ng tangent inverse? So, it's either nasa quadrant 4 ka or quadrant 1. Okay, so drawing natin dito. So, beta is somewhere there. So, it means tangent beta is 2/3. Okay, tangent is positive. So, all sin ta. Si cosine lang ang positive, tsaka yung reciprocal niya sa quadrant 4. So, yung beta natin nasa quadrant 1. So, beta is somewhere here. So, ang x natin ay positive, ang y natin is positive. And we know that, oops, may tangent beta na pala. We don't have to compute anymore. Okay, mas madali na pala buhay natin. Okay, so we already have tangent beta. So, ipa-plug in na lang natin itong tangent alpha and tangent beta dito. So, 1/2 minus 2/3 over 1 plus 1/2 times 2/3. Okay, so burahin ko lang ito so that we have space. Okay, so let's do this. So, we get 1/2 minus 2/3 ay 3 minus 4 over 6 all over 1 plus 2 over 6. So, multiply everything by 6 over 6. We get, this is negative 1. Let's cancel ito. This is 6 plus 2. So, the answer is negative 1/3. Therefore, the value of this is negative 1/3. And that ends our lecture on inverse trigonometric function.